Hey guys, this is Yandtech. So in this video, we are going to look at how to reset root password in Centos 7, Centos 8 as well. So we have different steps we are going to follow in order to reset our root password. So the first is to boot into a single user mode. After we have booted into the single user mode, we are going to exit the kernel. Then we are going to mount the root file system into a read-write mode. After doing that, we are going to change to the root, from the sys root to the root. Then we are going to reset the password. After resetting the password, we are going to recreate the SA Linux policy. SA Linux stands for Security Enhancement Linux. So the first thing we are going to look at is to boot into the single user mode. Then before booting into the single user mode, I'll log into my system. This is my system. I'm going to try to log in as the root. I've forgotten my password, so I'm going to try several passwords that I might be thinking of to see if it's going to work. So let me log into the root, not listed, my username, that is the root, the super user. Then I'm going to try to see if this is my password. It says sorry. Let me see, maybe this is it. All right, it says sorry. So from here, we are going to see how to reset the root password. So the first thing is to boot into the single user mode. So to boot into the single user mode, first of all, we need to restart the Centos system. So I'm going to restart the Centos system. Once I see the GRUB bootloader, once the GRUB bootloader screen appear, then I'm going to press the E key. I'm going to press the E key on my keyboard. The E key on the keyboard is going to take us to, is going to lead us where we can edit the selected entry. So let's go ahead and see how to do it. So I'm going to reset. I'm going to reset my system, right? I can cancel from here. Let me reset my system. So I'm going to reset or restart. All right, so this is the GRUB. You see they're asking for E. Let me do it again so you can pay attention to that phase. So I'm going to do it again. Once we see the GRUB bootloader menu appears, then I'm going to press E on my keyboard. So let me do it again, pay attention. All right, this is my GRUB bootloader phase. I'm going to press E. There we go. Once you press E, it is going to take us to where we can edit the selected entry. Now, once we are inside the single user mode, this is the single user mode, then we are going to exit the kernel. We are going to exit the kernel. So once we are inside this phase, we are going to use the arrow key down. We are going to scroll down till we find the line that starts with Linux 16. We are going to find the line that starts with Linux 16. So if I use my down arrow key to scroll down, there we go. That is the line Linux 16, right? This is the line Linux 16. We have Linux 16. So once we have that line Linux 16, we are going to scroll using the forward arrow. I'm going to move my mouse to the line where I see the root arrow. Like if I scroll all the way, I'm going to see something like RO. RO stands for read only. There we go. This is it. RO. RO stands for read only. So I'm going to change from read only to read and write. That is ROW. So I'm going to delete the arrow. I'm going to delete the O, the arrow, and I'm going to insert ROW. Let me write it down. All right, let me put here. So I'm going to change from RO, read only, to read and write. Init equals to this root bin SA, that is bin bash. So this is what we are going to write. RO W read and write init sysroot bin sh. Let me go back to the system and let's type that. So ROW init equals to sysroot bin sh. There we go. So once we have that written, the next thing to do is to press Ctrl X. The next thing to do is to press Ctrl X. So once you press Ctrl X is just to boot with the modified parameters, what we have typed out. So we are going to do Ctrl X to boot to the modified parameters. So I'm going to do Ctrl X. There we go. After it has boot with the modified parameter, the next step we are going to do is to mount the root file system. The next step is to mount the root file system. There we go. So by default, the root file system is mounted as read only at this point. So we are going to remount the root file system in order to have a read and write. In order to have a read and write mode. So let me come here. That is number 3. That is number 3. Once we have that, we are going to type the command is mount -o remount ROW for the read and write and sysroot. All right, that is the command. So I'll go into my system. I'll go back to my system. I'll type that command mount -o remount ROW sysroot. All right, there we go. So we are changing from the read only mode to the read and write mode, and I will do enter. Once we do that, the next thing now is to change to the root, is to change the root to the actual root directory. So we are going to change the root to the actual root directory by using the command chroot. So we are going to type change root to the system root. There we go. And I will click on enter. Okay. Let me go ahead and write down the command as well. That is number 4. So it is change root is root. There we go. So the next phase is number 5. That is to reset the password. That is to reset the password. So to reset the password, we are going to use the command passwd. We are going to use the command passwd to reset the password. So we are actually resetting the password of the root account. So it's going to be passwd root. So it is going to be passwd root because we are resetting the password of the root. So once we do that, I will click on or press enter, and it is going to ask me for a new password. Then I'm going to type out the new password. It is going to ask me now to retype the new password again. So I am going to type there we go. Then I'll press enter. Sorry, password not match. Sorry, let me do it again. retype. All right, all authentication tokens updated successfully. So at this point, I have resetted my password. So if I go back to the notepad and number 5, what we are supposed to do there is pass wd root, that is the command. The next phase, the last but not the least, is number 6, where we are going to recreate the SE Linux policy. So if you are actually using SE Linux and the system doesn't boot probably after changing the password, so you might want to create the SE Linux package policy, where we are going to run the command. We are going to create a file that is going to help us now to recreate this security enhancement Linux policy. So we are going to create a file, and the command to create a file is tosh. So we are going to create a hidden file by name auto-reliable. Auto-reliable. There we go. Tosh auto-reliable. Always check the spelling. So I'll go back to my system and I'll do that. So I'll create this file, tosh auto-reliable. All right, that is it. And I'll press enter. Once you have created that file, the next thing now is for us to exit the change root environment. Remember, we changed from the root to the system root. So now, once we have changed the password, we just need to exit out of the change root environment. So we type the command exit and we do enter. So once you have exit, the next thing, which is going to be the last thing, is for us to type the command reboot. The command reboot is just going to reboot the system. So I'm going to type reboot and I press enter. There we go. So this is just how to reset the root password in Centos 7, Centos 8 as well. So once the system boots up, then we are going to enter the new password and see if we have succeeded in changing the Centos 7 root password. So after the system boots back, we are going to log in as the root. We are going to log this time as the root as the user. Then let me insert the password that I created. Okay. Now, password accepted. So this is how to reset a root password in Centos 7, Centos 8 as well, and Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So we have 7 steps to follow. You need to boot into the single user mode as we did. You need to exit the kernel by running the command. You need to mount the root file system into a read-write mode. Then you need to change the root by using the command. Then you reset the password by using the reset password command, or the command to change a user password, that is a passwd. After doing that, you just recreate the SE Linux by creating a file. Then you exit into the file and you reboot your system. Once you reboot your system, that is all. So you see, we have successfully reset our root password and we are connected back to our system.